I hope you're all having the best day possible, and as always, I appreciate you taking a bit of time out of that day to actually watch one of my videos, and I've really been wanting to venture out a little bit from my standard content to actually discuss some more general lifestyle choices as well, and in this video, I'm going to be discussing something that I think particularly is important because the way that society kind of looks at people like myself who know that they do not ever want to raise a family or maybe even ever be married for that matter, they kind of generally tend to judge us, right? They'll say that, oh, you're just being selfish, right? You just want to live a loose lifestyle and not have any responsibility. You're not contributing to society by adding new people into it. All of this stuff that I think is just absolute nonsense that's making you try to basically learn to hate yourself instead of embracing the fact that you already know what you want. So if you have someone in your life who does think this way, especially if they're trying to pressure you into settling down or just into sharing their beliefs, please just remember that you are not in the wrong, and what I'm about to say should give you a little bit better perspective on why it is perfectly reasonable and actually smarter to identify whether or not raising a family is something that you actually do ultimately want in your future. And if we're being completely honest, it's something that you really have to decide whether or not you're capable of handling the responsibility of. Because when it comes to raising a family, you can't just have kids for the wrong reasons. You have to be able to provide a ton of stability. You have to make those children your priority, regardless of what your previous passions were. And ultimately speaking, I know this is not something that I would be fully capable of doing. Now, don't get me wrong. If I was in a situation where I was going to have a kid because of my actions, obviously I would have to step up and take on that responsibility. I would have to make changes. But if I'm consciously avoiding the thing that can actually lead to having children, and beyond that, if I'm completely honest with a partner before anything ever happens about the fact that I never want to have children, then I don't see why I should ever feel as though I have to go about wanting to reach a point where I'm capable of handling that much responsibility. Because I know the type of person I am. I'm a person who's extremely impulsive. I get extremely passionate about things that don't necessarily make a lot of sense to other people out there. And it leads to me having a lot of my time consumed by those things. And it also leads to me not always being the most stable person financially, not always being somebody who would be the best provider in the world. And I know that's the type of person I am. And that's the way that I really do enjoy living. So I'm not going to say, oh, well, I enjoy living this way, but I also want to have a family, so I'm going to go and try to change some things and then, just have a couple kids and just for the sake of it, and then ultimately not provide those kids the very best that I can. That would be unfair to the children, that would be unfair to the partner, and it's not something that I'm willing to do. But at the same time, I'm not willing to give up everything in my life that I do enjoy because I have things in my life that do fulfill me. There are all kinds of things. Silver investing is something that I'm extremely passionate about, and it's something that to me really does provide an insane amount of fulfillment. And there is an online community that I'm a really big part of where I get to meet people all the time that are going through some really tough things in their life and helping to guide them through their sorrow, helping them to reach the light at the end of the tunnel. That is something that provides me great purpose in this world. So I'm already feeling fulfilled. I already feel purposeful from the things that I do in my life without having a family. And beyond that, I know that the type of person I am would not be someone who would provide the best stability for their children. And again, I would absolutely be willing to change my life if my own actions resulted in me having a kid. Obviously, that's when I would have to step up. But like I said before, if I'm not doing anything to have a child, why should I want to have one? Or why should I want to change my life to be prepared to have one? If it's something that I know that I don't want in my life, if I already feel fulfilled by the things in my life, then I don't think it's fair to say, oh, well, you need to eventually contribute another member to society. If I'm contributing to society through my own actions, that should be enough. And if we're being completely honest, why would society deem that you must have children in order to be successful, or you must raise children to be these great people? Obviously, contributing more people to society who are going to be good members of society, that's a great thing, but let's really be honest for 1 second. The system relies on new people coming in and taking on jobs, filling up the public education system, filling up everything in order to keep on functioning. So, is it really in your best interest to have children because society deems that you must do so when you might end up actually resenting the fact that you had children and really not being a good parent at all? Or is it smarter to say, hey, this is not something that I want in my life, so I'm going to step back, I'm going to be responsible, not end up having children by accident, and beyond that, I'm going to continue to work on myself or the people around me, maybe it's your own family, whatever it may be that you find fulfillment in, You can focus on that if that's what makes you happy. And you shouldn't let anyone take that away from you or make you feel like that you need to raise your own family one day in order to be a success. But that is just my perspective on it. And if you think anyone else might need to hear this, consider sharing the video with them, because I do think it's really important that young people, especially like myself, really don't ever get brainwashed by this idea that success equals raising a family. That's simply not true at all, unless it's something that you want in your future, and you have to actually be a good parent as well. But that's truly it for this one now. Peace.